Yo, it is Cecil West, Beyond the Harmony, with the one and only
John Lippy.
The question of the day. We got a question today. The last bunch of days, we've talked about a lot of cool stuff, and somehow, repeatedly during the previous questions of the day, the song Can't Give It Up has come up. So I decided I'm just going to have a Can't Give It Up question for you, Johnny. Do you think that Krayzie and Bizzy are talking about each other in their verses to Can't Give It Up?
I think they're talking about a myriad of things. I think by the time Can't Give It Up came out, I was kind of bored with this whole, unity thing because like the Resurrection video came out first and they keep saying, hey, why y'all said Bone broke up? And I'm thinking, well, because you guys dropped some solo albums. That's why. I mean, and then I was like, but they also always said that it's always Bone. So then when they were trying to tell us that they didn't break up, I'm like, okay, I really didn't think you guys broke up in the first place. And then by the time Can't Give It Up came up, I thought it was just kind of like, if I don't think he was talking smack to Bizzy. I think if he was talking about Bizzy, I think he was trying to, at the time period, assess the situation, saying, yeah, we're kind of in a bad situation, but it's the hand we got to make it work. So could you please show up and help us do our jobs, I think. But I could be wrong. I just felt like he was just kind of assessing the situation. I felt like the whole song was kind of just a collection of all the trials and tribulations they had gone through business-wise and where they were at that point.
He was definitely saying that about Bizzy, like, because he outright said it, like, on Gemini on I Remember. You know what I mean? Like he openly says, I was never mad at you. I was mad at you running out on the band. The Can't Give It Up verses, I mean, it's a weird time in Bone, and even the chorus, even the chorus could be a little like finger pointy. I guess at Bizzy at that time. I can't remember now if it was a interview or what, but I remember somewhere hearing Bizzy or excuse me, hearing or reading that Krayzie says that his verse is about Mo Thugs, which gives it a completely different spin if you think of it that way. And he does end the verse with, now our family reunion and turned into a family crisis, which could definitely be, referencing the Mo Thugs family reunion. But there's a lot of stuff in Krayzie Bone's verse that sounds like it's pushing at Krayzie or at Bizzy. Now, you take all that and say, nope, it's Mo Thugs. Okay, fair. He's not talking about Bizzy, it's Mo Thugs. Next verse, Bizzy Bone. Bizzy Bone starts his verse with, I was never on some solo shit. First words out of his mouth. I was never on some solo shit. I was always down to roll and blow a fucking head off. Okay? So I don't know. You want to think at that time, because it was the resurrection, right? So at that time you want to think they were pretty unified for that moment.
It's like they're always sending mixed signals, in my opinion. When it comes to these breakups to makeups, it's like, all right, already. Think about how long that this particular topic has been drugged out. And I'm like, all right, so are you guys at this point? I mean, I don't even care because I kind of like your solo careers, right? And I'm like, if you guys want to get together, make an album, cool, but don't make it about getting back together, right? So, and it was always a mixed signal where it's like, yeah, we're together, and then we're not, and then we are, and we're not.
They've always been pretty subliminal, like Bone as like rappers. They've always been pretty subliminal. Like even when they were like dissing Do or Die and twisting them, like it was never like a just openly said thing, and it was almost like they wanted to talk about each other in these songs. And I'm not just talking this one specifically, but it's almost like they wanted to like talk about it and be able to talk about the Bones situation, but they didn't want the other Bones to know I'm talking about you in this song, and they didn't want to say it out loud to the fans, like, yes, I'm talking about Bizzy, but then it was like the turn of the head and the hand goes up over the mouth, like, but you know I'm talking about Bizzy Bone, right? So it was. That's always the feeling I got. I think this one is a coin toss. Krayzie could definitely be talking about Mo Thugs in it, but he could definitely be talking about Bizzy Bone as well.
Well, the chorus too. I just wanted to mention that I think I even wrote about it in one of my books, but that chorus always there's definitely a deep spiritual value to it. It's almost, the card game Gin Rummy. You got to give up a card to get something. So there's always something you got to give up to get everything you want. And sometimes you got to give up something you don't want to give up to get. Sometimes you got to move to a job and leave your family behind, or there's always something you got to give up. And there's something to that, and it's built into the fabric of science of you can't create or destroy matter, but you sometimes have to light a match. You get the fire, but then you get the ashes. There's a relativity to everything. So I don't know if they intended it to be that deep, but every time I've heard that chorus, I just kind of like go into my own dimension, thinking of the pros and cons of everything, the things I've had to sacrifice to get the things that I either wanted or needed. So I always appreciated the deepness of Can't Give It Up.
I'm gonna say too, Krayzie Bone says in his verse, "We all hard as one, but together we raw, and then a hater that can fuck with that." I just censored that, by the way. We all hard as one, which makes it sound like he's talking about like as a unit, but then he says, "But together we raw." So we all hard as one. One meaning singular, like we all hard as one solo. I don't think he's talking about Mo Thugs there. There's too many Mo Thugs to talk about. But together we raw, and ain't a hater that can fuck with that. We all hard as one, but together we raw. And then Bizzy starts his verse with, "I was never on some solo shit." Right. Almost like Krayzie's like trying to acknowledge, like, yo, Bizzy, I give you your props. You nice solo. But we the best together. And Bizzy follows up with, "Bro, I never even gave a fuck about that solo shit. All I cared about was Bone Thugs, but I had to do the solo shit. You know the situation." That's kind of how I take little shit like that.
Well, and I could see what he was saying, because I guess it was perceived that maybe he thought he was bigger than the group. So, but as we learned, it was on some business tip and bad contracts and Bizzy figuring it out before the rest of the guys. The rest of the guys figured it out later on. He was just a little ahead of the game, just like Ice Cube. It's the parallels between Bone and NWA. Ice Cube figured it out at the beginning, left, and it wasn't to be on some solo tip. It was just that Ice Cube didn't feel like he was getting his end of the bargain as far as the efforts that he put in. He's doing all the writing, performing. So, and same with Bizzy. He just didn't feel. From what we understand, is he didn't think the contracts were good, or he was getting his end of the deal. And so I guess he's saying, look, it's not that I'm on some solo tip. Same with Ice Cube. It was just, sometimes you got to do what you got to do when the money's not right.
I will say, too, like, for Krayzie to say that verse is about, Mo Thugs, and he's like, our family reunion turned into a family crisis. Everything we was dissolved. Like, he's very dismissive of it. Lazy Bone, when Lazy Bone's verse kicks in, he says some shit like, you'll be blinded by the size of Mo Thugs or some shit. Almost given the opposite, which I guess makes sense. He stayed mighty Mo Thug for a long time. But that's the opposite impression if Krayzie Bone's verse is indeed about Mo Thugs.
Well, and that last line is telling, though. That family reunion turned into a family crisis. That there's at least a part of that is about Mo Thugs, and then you break it down and you're like, all right, who's this snake in the grass? Because this isn't the first or the last time Krayzie Bone referenced the snake in the grass. And then he even says he got inside us like a virus. So a he. I mean, I guess it's the devil, but I don't know. There may be some guy out there that screwed up the whole Mo Thugs thing. So now, Beyond the Harmony, we got to find out what this snake in the grass is all about.
I don't know. Sure, it could be the family reunion. Could be talking about family reunion. He could be talking about Art of War. Just because the album was specifically called Family Reunion doesn't maybe prevent them from labeling other things. So I don't know. That's the only line that I guess you could specifically say. And like I said, we all hard as one, but together we raw. I was never on some solo shit. There's things that could say either. I guess we're undecided. That leaves us definitely wanting to know what you guys think about this. Once again, your question of the day: do you think Krayzie Bone and Bizzy Bone are talking about each other on the track Can't Give It Up? Make sure you leave your comment below and let us know what you think. Don't forget, like, subscribe, Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com. Share this with your favorite Bone Thug fan, and we'll catch you next time.
Beyond the Harmony, for the fans we celebrate. Uploading the video.